Eversmeyer in studio with us. Travis, the girls, I was out there covering the game against Wilton, really played well.
They played phenomenal, and it helps when we get a 3 spot in the first inning. Big home run from Ella Trenkamp that followed Leah Mangelson and Emma Kiergaard single, and just scrappy group. They believed in themselves, played phenomenal defense, and proud of them.
Great to have that girl in the circle, though, Madison Cleaver, my goodness.
Yeah, she's been a rock for us her whole career. I mean, she pitched us to state as an 8th grader, then had a little injury bug her freshman and sophomore year, and now she's healthy this year, and it really shows. And our defense is just so confident that she's going to put the ball over the plate, and we're going to have to make plays for her, but she's also a strikeout pitcher. She's at about a strikeout and a half per inning.
Visiting with Troy Hansen, the athletic director out there, and he was saying that you two had a conversation before the start of the season putting together the schedule. Tell us about that.
So we didn't have any seniors on the roster, and we knew this was kind of in our minds at that time, it was a 2-year process. We wanted to be as good as we could be by year 2. So I asked him to throw a tough schedule at us, and we got the likes of North Scott, Cedar Rapids Jefferson, Macokota, Cedar Rapids Xavier, Dubuque Wahlert, Davenport North, West Liberty. Basically anybody that would play us that was in a bigger class and would really challenge us. In the past, we had kind of gone to the Cal Wheat tournaments and things like that on the weekends, and I didn't feel like we were getting pushed enough. Like, you're winning a lot of games, but I don't know, you don't leave satisfied because you don't know if you're really that good or not. So putting some of these teams on there that could expose some weaknesses was hopefully going to make us ready for the tournament and not scared of anybody.
Of course, you see these girls on the high school level, but before they get to high school, they are building that foundation, aren't they, Travis?
They are. I mean, all of our girls have played travel ball at some point from varying programs, but majority of them play for the Clinton Comets, and they come up through the Rebel feeder program in terms of Little League, so they're seasoned by the time they get to us. And it's a double-edged sword. Like, a lot of times you're seeing kids across the state get burnt out, but these kids are the ones that stuck it out with us, and really proud of who they become as athletes, but even more as people.
You know, the fan support is always good no matter what level, especially if you've got a solid team. But the small communities really seem to come out. I mean, at Wilton, it was like 4 or 5 deep in the outfield.
Across the entire field, and luckily we didn't let their crowd get into it too much because we got the 3 runs right away, but you could hear our fans as well, and just packed. And you come to a little field and it's 180 down the lines and you're right on top of the action, and to see 4 or 5 deep, what a great atmosphere.
You know, that is the thing about softball. I umpired softball for a number of years, and it is so different from baseball. I mean, you are right on top of the action.
And it's such a fast game. Like, if you bobble a ball, you can't get them out. And it's just, that's what I fell in love when Mr. Mole asked me 16 years ago if I had any interest in coaching girls sports, and I was a little skeptical at the time because I just didn't know, and really fell in love with the sport and the kids and how hard they worked. And but the atmosphere every night, and our fans show up for home games like you wouldn't believe, and we even have grandparents of kids that played in 2016 that still follow us all the way across the state, no matter where we go, and it's just fun.
Again, visiting with Travis Eversmeyer, head coach of the Northeast Rebels. So what's the itinerary? What are the plans for Fort Dodge?
So we're going to leave Monday morning at 8:30 with a little short send-off at the softball field. We're going to get out there around noon and have lunch and check into the dorms at Iowa Central. Then we're going to go hit up a game, just get the atmosphere and the feel of Fort Dodge for the ones that haven't been there with us yet. And then 5:30 practice on Monday night, and roll in on Tuesday morning, get a good breakfast, batting practice, and do our normal routine.
As I told you, I went to Iowa Central Community College, but it was in the early 70s. Things certainly have changed. You said a number of teams are staying in the dorms.
I think in the Zoom call the other night, he said 28 or 29 of the 40 teams are going to be in the dorms. So that's something we didn't get to experience in 2020 and something we're looking forward to. With COVID in 2020, we had to stay in hotels, and you're spread out all over the city, and a lot of the town was shut down actually still. So for us to get another opportunity in a year that's not COVID is exciting.
Talk a little bit about team bonding? I mean, these girls are going to get this experience certainly in Fort Dodge, but I would imagine there's been other tournaments where you've taken them to.
Oh yeah, and we stayed overnight at Linn-Mar tournament, Linn-Mar Alburnett, so try to get them together. And this group not having any seniors, there's virtually been zero drama on our team. They are hanging out together outside of the sport, and just genuinely great kids that are friends outside of softball as well. So
no drama is always a lot of
yes.
good things for the coach. So let's talk about this team going forward. You were saying at the beginning of the interview it was kind of like a 2-year plan. Was this kind of unexpected to get to Fort Dodge?
I thought we could for sure be in the regional championship game with a chance to go. It's hard to predict what your draw is going to be, and we actually liked our draw, even though there was number 7 and number 9 in there. I know that some coaches had interviews through different media publications that they weren't excited about having 2 ranked teams in the same region, but we actually thought, you know what? In our mind, we thought we had the best pitcher in the region and one of the best offenses. So if we could play clean on defense, we'd have a shot.
And you had to go to Cascade. You had to go to Wilton. What was it like to play on the road?
The first one was kind of rainy, and I thought our girls handled that really well. In both games, we got out to such a great start. And one of our big goals is to score first. And up at Cascade, we got out to a 4-0 lead. And then like we've talked, at Wilton, we got out to a 3-0 lead. So that kind of settles you in a little bit. You get to take your breath and relax and settle in and play some good softball.
You know, you hate to bring up a lot of individuals, but looking at your lineup, Cleaver, Kiersgaard, Mangelson, and Trenkamp right there at the top. No wonder you're going to score early.
Right, and originally we had Maddie batting third, but we just weren't getting a lot of production, and I thought she was trying to hit every ball out of the park, so we moved her up to leadoff, actually, which is nice because as a pitcher, then we can run for her, so we can get some speed in for her when she's on base, followed by Kiergaard, who's got such good bat control and can slap it to all fields. Leah Mangelson, great power hitter.
Yeah.
Ella Trenkamp, great doubles hitter, and then obviously she connected on a huge home run the other night. But then you follow it up with Cadence Driscoll, who started 1 for 16 on the season, batting under 100, and she's up to 325, so has had a great second half of the season. Caitlin Hansen, we consider our second leadoff in the 6-hole. For a while, she led the state in sacrifice bunts, too, so she's willing to move runners. Allie Kane, another lefty that can slap to all fields and has really come on at the end of the season.
Yeah, she had 3 hits the other night.
Yep, and then we consider our 8-hole our second 3-hole batter. So Piper Isbell's down there with some power options, and then get some speed on the bottom, rolling it over to the top with Olivia Chambers and Jordan Tagler.
Well, we appreciate your time. Just one more point, and then I'll let you go, and because I know the girls are lifting right now, and you got a practice coming up. But how much fun is it to coach and put together a lineup and kind of see where things are going to fit?
Well, I mean, I'm sure people questioned us throughout the year on some of the decisions that we were making, especially early. Started 10-9 on the season and got hot there, but it's really fun to find the pieces, and when they finally settle into a lineup, it's just cool to see how it rolls over.
All right, we'll see you in Fort Dodge on Tuesday.
All right, thank you.
Again, our thanks to Travis Eversmeyer. Coming up, a check of the weather.